things can be going completely horrible. And I feel like, Lord, am I supposed to be doing this? Things could be going completely amazing.
You got to go preaching, man.
And I'm going to say, Lord, am I supposed to be doing this?
What is good, creative culture? Welcome back to another episode. We're like on episode 43.
43.
We've been doing some crazy things, bro.
And both last two episodes we've traveled.
Yeah.
I'm NEMO, by the way.
That's NEMO, by the way. I looked over here like I was going to look at that camera.
I was looking at the camera. Sorry.
No, but it's been great, man. We've gotten some awesome conversations rolling, and we got another banger today.
Great episode.
So excited for this one. Guys, we have a special guest. We're actually, he is our host right now.
He's actually hosted us this weekend. Yes.
New friend, and we're just really grateful to be here. Without further ado, help me welcome WillSpeaks.
Come on. Hey,
Let's go.
yeah. I'm so excited to be with you guys today and just to have this open talk, discussion about what's about to be brought to the table.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much detail, but I know enough that it is going to encourage some folks.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I believe that's what our conversations have been really like speaking to some people lately.
Yeah.
Everything from even like the impulsive, like the out of nowhere one, because Joey didn't show up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
From we broke, all the way to feeling like a failure, to the one with Miles Minnick last week. And
Yeah.
now I believe this one's going to be even better.
I think the biggest thing, and we'll jump right into it in a second, but the biggest thing is just being honest and open.
Transparent.
That
yeah.
genuine conversation
Yeah.
of real things, real people go through.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of makes
It's a
all
good
the
one,
difference. But I want to jump into something, this idea, and I know we've all experienced this in our lives in one way or the other, but this kind of topic of like running from God or being on the run or maybe running from your purpose or running from a job that God called you to be at or whatever it is. But I guess my first question for the boys is, have you ever run from something? I'm not talking spiritual. I'm talking about, have you ever run away from an opportunity? Have you ever run away from a challenge or anything like that?
Let's let him answer that.
I mean,
one.
I had the police chasing me a few times. That's
That's what I was gonna say.
Got myself into some trouble as a child. No, but you know what? It's funny. That's like such a huge question. I feel like it spreads so wide, so deep because
absolutely.
I constantly find myself in this place where I'm being challenged and I'm being stretched.
Yeah.
And because of the challenge, it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you don't want to go to that extent. So you'll begin to walk a different direction, hoping that it'll get easier another way.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly running, if I'm being honest. I'm constantly running from challenge of business, challenges of ministry, challenges of marriage, challenges of fatherhood, because sometimes I don't feel like, man, I don't know if I'll be able to succeed in this area, or if I don't know if, man, having one kid was one thing, and then two kids, and it was like, oh man, we're having a third child, and then boom, you know, I got a 7-week-old at home now. I got 4 boys, and it's like, every challenge can be an obstacle or an opportunity.
What's that saying I've heard? New levels bring new devils.
Yeah.
Right? It's just something new. Every time you level up, there's going to be another obstacle that's thrown at you. Another something to, how do I handle this?
Text you a few days ago, something that I wrote down like a while ago. I was like, when there's a new door, there's a new I forgot what it was. I texted to you too.
I'll have to look at it.
Yeah.
I don't remember
And it was just talking about that.
And for me, I think like when people say things like new level, new devil, it's not that I don't agree with the slogan or what is being said.
Yeah.
The reality is this, that no matter what level you go to in life, the devil's the same.
Yeah.
He just tries to play on his same trick, which is to be a liar.
Yeah.
And then you feel like I'm not enough, or I can't measure up to this, or I'll never succeed in this area. So I'm constantly running from these opportunities sometimes because they look more like obstacles to me. It's like David approaching the giant, right?
Yeah.
Everybody else saw him as something to fear, someone to fear, and he saw it as an opportunity.
Yo, I mean, we even talked a little bit about that today, of that sense of unqualified, right?
Feeling like,
and so
you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Like I'm not good enough to have a podcast.
Yeah.
I stutter.
Like, I can't talk.
I'm fat, so I breathe heavy. Like, little things like that, like that.
So you're like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. Then that little voice in your head that kind of distracts you from. You were actually gonna be one of the biggest podcasts, but you were so
because
in your own head, and you ran from it.
Yeah,
that's wild. We're gonna get a little biblical in this one because it was just an awesome kind of illustration I wanted to talk about when Jesus, before he was crucified and before he was betrayed and all that, he had warned Peter in that story that we all know that he was gonna deny him at some point. And then Peter's like, nah, there's no chance, bro. I would never do that.
I promise.
But the thing is, Jesus already knew that, warned him about it.
Yeah.
What in that story, just thinking about that, what does it mean, if you guys have any thoughts of this, for Jesus to warn Peter?
When I look at people like Peter in the Bible, I think about myself. I think we can all think about ourselves. It's like, how many times do we want to do what is right, but we end up maybe going in the wrong direction?
Yeah.
So I don't think it was pride. I don't think it was arrogance. I don't think it was anything of self-motivation of like, oh, I'm going to just do this to prove to you that I'm not going to be that person. Truly, deep down, he cared and he loved God. Like, he truly wanted to honor Jesus and he wanted to do what is right. So he was just saying, hey, I'm willing to go to prison and to death with you. There's no way I would ever disown you or walk away from you. Like, I've been following you for 3 years. What makes you think that I would ever
never do that? I
would never deny you. So I think from purity, it was truly from his heart that was something he thought he would never do, because that's how much he loved and cared for Jesus. So, but how many times do we do that? It's like, Lord, man, I'm on my knees. I'm praying right now. I feel so close to your heart. Like, there's not a place I wouldn't go. You want me to go to Indonesia, Africa, China? I'll go wherever you want me to go. And it's like, you're committed to the cause.
Yeah.
And then trials and tribulations come and you get tested. And then the next day you're like, I don't even want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm done with this whole mission idea. This idea that, Lord, I'll do anything for you.
Yeah.
Again, obstacles can create these barriers and these ideas in our minds that I'm not good enough. I can't continue, and I can't keep representing Jesus the way that I thought I would.
That I thought I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe his heart was in the right place.
Yeah.
It's just that situations that were in front of him got the best of his moment.
Yeah.
And I would hate to be defined by moments like that. Like,
by your weakest moments.
Right. Let's not allow ourselves to be defined by these moments of denial.
Yeah.
Instead, let ourselves be I would say known for the moments where we actually accepted and we followed.
Yeah. Do you think moments like that, even in our own lives, like when we had to, when we made a wrong decision or we denied Christ or whatever that situation is for us, do you think that's needed, like in our walks and in our journeys, to like build something that we needed for the next level?
I believe that everything is optional.
Yeah.
Like, the Lord wants us to seek him and to listen to his voice, to hear him out, and to know what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes we put ourselves in these positions of turmoil and hardship.
Yeah.
Not because it was ordained or caused by God, but it was refused by us. And, but I think they are necessary for us to go through in times, for us to see God's faithfulness, regardless of what we decide to do, regardless of what route we decide to take.
Sometimes it's like God reminding us, even in the midst of our, dysfunction or our struggle or our mishap, you turned right when you were supposed to turn left. And like, God still shows up just to say like, hey, just because you made the mistake doesn't mean that I have left you. I feel like sometimes I've done this personally, where I've maybe doubted God in a season of my life, or I've geared off a little too much to the left. And like, even in the midst of like the stupidity and the stuff I shouldn't have done, even in the mistakes that I've made, even in my own marriage, God's like, just because you made that mistake doesn't mean I don't have love for you. If anything, tell me, because I'm here to wrap my arms around you still. you know.
I think I wanted to play off of something we said a little bit, just being unqualified.
Yeah.
And I've had moments like this, like I'm in the middle of like a movement of God or something just crazy going off, you know, a powerful word, a powerful worship set, you know, whatever it is, only to feel like a sense of being unqualified, a sense of fear, you know, right in the middle of that, to kind of discourage me. I'm like, whoa, wait, what am I doing here? Like, I shouldn't be in this room with these people. Like, I shouldn't, you know, be offered this or that. What makes us feel like that?
I think about myself, and it could be like parts of my upbringing. It could be like what I had to see growing up as like, I don't deserve this because I should always be broke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Yeah.
I don't deserve this because I should always be lacking. I should always be in a place of the unknown.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather suffer because I'm used to overcoming suffering.
Yeah.
And maybe again, it's one of those deals where we put ourselves there mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
And we could be unstable in all of our ways, in a lot of ways. But God is the only one that like truly can give us that restoration, that strength, and that hope that we need to persevere, to continue going forward, and to understand that He has your future and your best interest in mind.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't normally pray for myself. I normally pray for my brother, my wife, whoever, you know.
Right.
Like I'm the last thing that I think about when it comes to praying. In that season or in that moment that you're feeling that, you know, whoever it is it wrong for you to pray for yourself?
No, I think you need to take care of yourself. I think you need to be lifting yourself up before the Lord. Because when you're not, it's like you can feel it. You recognize it. You're like, man, I'm not in the most positive mindset right now.
Yeah.
Something's up with me. I'm not lifting my own heart before the Lord. I'm not lifting my own needs before the Lord. I'm not lifting my own emotions before the Lord. That's one of my biggest prayers daily. I would say my most consistent prayers, Lord, give me peace.
Yeah.
You know, give me strength. Give me wisdom and understanding. Give me patience.
Yeah.
Because I could be praying for everyone else and not lifting my own needs and my own emotions before the Lord.
Yeah.
And then I find myself in these areas of drought and confusion, depression, anxiety, feeling less than, disqualified, inadequate. God wants us to truly bring our hearts before Him and say, Lord, cleanse this, use this.
I think as I feel like we're all like, we want to give to people, right? As in ministry, as worship leaders, even content creators and all that. I feel like we get caught up in that rhythm of, hey, give time with my family, time for ministry, time for this, time for that. And I feel like that gets kind of lost sometimes, of like self-care.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like, Lord, give me strength, and refueling ourselves. And that leads to burnout. That leads to so many other things that it can kind of trickle and affect. I think that's super important to always kind of remember to kind of push pause sometimes. Right. Because I know I do that. I've done that. And then I find myself in, okay, I'm a little confused what I'm even doing right now.
Yeah. Well, because you're doing, sometimes you're doing stuff that your heart is not being satisfied in.
Yeah.
Oof. And you don't feel any comfort or true care about what you're doing. So you're constantly doing it. And they say, oh man, hard work never killed anybody. Right. But working hard at something that you can't stand will kill you.
Yeah.
Facts.
Like sometimes, like if we use the analogy of a car, the car's on empty. You have to go refuel. Like you have to go do it. If not, you're gonna have to push this car by yourself. Yeah. And it's like, why do I want to push a car that's what's the normal size weight of a car?
I have no idea.
Say if it's let's just say a ton. Let's say so over a ton. I can barely lift 100 pounds or push 150, but I expect to push a ton to a gas station, and then I have so much baggage on me, or I have a car that I have to push so hard, and then it's like, well, the source is right there, but I can't get there. Well, maybe when you saw the light blinking, you probably should have went to it. It's like sometimes, like when we're feeling that way, I've noticed, like if I'm starting to feel that way and I'm serving that way, oh no, the light blinks. Right. Let me get back. Let me go to the gas station.
If I can interject real quick,
please.
I would say one of the greatest needs in that is community.
Yeah.
Right? Because our community is going to help us in areas where we feel like we're lacking.
Big time.
They expose those areas where we are blind in, our blind spots, those places where, we need growth and we need encouragement. So I would say surrounding yourself with the right people will take you to the right places.
Yeah.
And you begin to respond the right way. Your community, I believe, builds your future. It's amazing.
I want to hit on that, on discouragement, just a little bit. I know you guys just recently, in the last couple of years, just went through this transition of everything that's happening with church now and the garden and ministry. Did you ever feel like in that time at all like a sense of discouragement? Like, why am I even doing this? Let's go serve under somebody and let's throw in the towel. Because that can be heavy and that's super real.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel anything like that during that time or any time in ministry at all? He said, I'm trying to set him up right now.
You guys are funny. Listen, so things can be going completely horrible.
Yeah.
And I feel like, Lord, am I supposed to be doing this? Things could be going completely amazing.
I'm about to go preach right now.
And I'm going to say, Lord, am I supposed to be doing this?
Yes, man.
Honestly, it doesn't matter what season I'm in.
Yeah.
I question myself if I'm supposed to be doing this. Because I know me. I know how I am. I know what I'm thinking deep down. I know what I'm feeling deep down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so many times we refuse to actually be honest and share what our emotions and our minds and our bodies are saying.
Yeah.
We want to ignore it and like tuck it under and just say, oh, I got this all together. I got it. And we end up destroying ourselves. And then we need time away. We get discouraged, whatever. So to answer your question, always.
Yeah.
Always.
That's heavy, bro.
Yeah.
Is it ever like too heavy? Because if you're always asking yourself that, I feel like I would kind of drive myself crazy if I was constantly asking myself that.
Sure. That's where, Proverbs 3:5 comes in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Trust in the Lord God with all your heart. Lean not on your own
No
understandings.
understanding.
Acknowledge him in all of your ways and he'll direct your path.
Yeah.
I believe that the Lord is wanting to give direction when we feel like I'm lost. I'm hopeless. I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. God's like, let me direct you.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Let me direct you.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. Let me direct you. It's allowing God to be front and center and the guide.
It's allowing
really.
God to be God.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's easier said than done
Oh, very.
because we want to be in control.
No, for real.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to transition just a little bit. Did you have anything else on that at all? No. I want to talk about just how lonely ministry can be sometimes. Sometimes it feels like you're on an island, especially when we talked about you're always constantly giving. You're giving.
Sure.
Have you ever had God, like when you're in that middle of, I feel like I'm by myself. It's just me and Matt right now, or it's just me and NEMO, and we just feel kind of alone. Have you ever had like God like step in and answer like that prayer of like, you're not alone. Like here's this or that, or something you needed right in that moment, in that weird time.
I'm constantly seeing God's faithfulness over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
There's not a day that I could think of where my complaints, my bickering, my frustrations, like I can't think of a time where they actually led me to a place of destruction, because God he just doesn't allow it.
Yeah.
I've wanted to just throw in the towel and give up and walk away. Have I felt alone? Of course.
Yeah.
Have I felt isolated? Of course. But it goes back to that place of community. There's seasons in my life where I feel like I can't even get up, but the people around me are the ones lifting me up.
Yeah.
There's moments where I feel like, man, I don't even want to go forward. And then, man, I got brothers and sisters like, hey, we got you. We're covering you in prayer.
Yeah.
Today in worship, I had one person come to me, hey, let me just pray for you real quick.
Yeah.
Boom. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take it. Then I look back, another dude taps me on the shoulder and he's like, we've been praying for you all week, interceding for you and your family. I just realized that in the moments where I feel like I'm alone, God just always showing me,
He shows
Will,
you.
you're not alone. You got so many people that are around you, that care for you, that are praying for you, that got your back, that would do anything for you, that would lay everything down. Then there's those moments where you feel like, will they really lay it down? Will they really
That's real.
do all this? Will they really
Mm-hmm.
boom? And that's the way the enemy works.
Yeah.
You think about Jesus being baptized, right? He goes into the water. It's like, you are my son in whom I'm well pleased, coming from heaven. 3 verses later, the devil's right there in the wilderness like, hey, are you really the son of God? It's like the very thing that God had told him that he was, you are the son of God. The devil will begin to question, saying, are you really the son of God?
Yeah.
In our seasons of difficulties, trials, and tribulations, it seems like the enemy knows right when to come in and begin to question what God had just spoken to us.
Yeah.
How many times have I heard the Lord say, man, Will, you're called to preach. You're called to lead. You're called to mentor. You're called to travel. You're called to encourage. You're called to write books. You're called to make songs. You're called to do a podcast. You're called to reach the world.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, am I really called to preach?
Yeah.
Am I really called to do a podcast? Am I really called to be? These questions come in through these little like spaces where the enemy could just creep in and lie to you. So yes, I go through seasons where I feel alone and isolated, but that's where my community, like I'm telling you, we're talking about the team that I work with at the church. Like this is the most like fun I've ever had with the staff. It's the most life I've ever felt with the staff. It's the most, but it's because I know they're praying for me and I'm praying for them. Yeah. It's because I know that if something were to be going down, they would say, hey, I got your back. If something was going down for them, I'd say, I got your back. It's truly family. So I would say, check your circle, check the people around you, make sure that, hey, are these people that will lift and carry me? Or are these people that will hit and bury me? Like I want to make sure that I'm surrounded by the people that are going to actually lift me up and take me to the next place.
That's super important. We've talked about that so much on the podcast, just community itself, because we've said when I'm feeling this way or I'm like, I'm losing it, NEMO, hold on to me, or Joey. And then I got 2 brothers now. It can kind of go both ways. Like you said, are they bringing you down? Like, are you hanging out with people that are going to distract you from your calling? Are you hanging out with people that are encourage you just to smoke every day and that's all you're going to do?
Right.
Like even outside of ministry, are you hanging out with people that are going to make you a better person?
True.
Or are they going to keep you, robbing people or whatever, just different circles? Community is everything.
That's why, like, even for me, like you saying community and all that, but that's why being married to the right spouse matters. Because there's been seasons where
oh my goodness,
the only person I had was my wife.
Facts.
And it was God reminding me, like, there's a reason why she's here. This woman is stronger than you think. There's been moments where my circle was not the circle I was supposed to be in. And my wife God would speak through my wife. She'd be like, all right, babe, it's time to get out of there. Hey, don't answer that. Matter of fact, block that number right now. Delete it. You don't need to answer that no more. And if it wasn't for my wife, a lot of the reason, if it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't have the circle that I have today. Because I believe her discernment for others, her wisdom of being able to read people, has helped me to make sure that my circle is strong. And that I don't. It's okay to hear them, but don't listen to them, because you can hear them come out of the other ear. But when you listen to them, it goes into your heart.
Today.
It does. And I had a lot of people with black stones, and I thought they were white. They were disguised as white, but they were black in the back,
bruh.
And that's why I kept getting stoned. And some people in my life that almost pushed even him away. And it wasn't until God revealed it to my wife, or maybe until I wasn't prideful enough, till my pride finally got rid of, and my wife said, hey, they have black stones. They're not here for that. So that's why, like, I always, you know me, I love to shout out my wife all the time, because she's the reason why I am the man I am today, because God has spoken to my wife a lot. I won't move unless she.
It's important, having people, like you said, having people at your back that will do anything for you. I feel like I'm barely coming into that too. It's always been me and wifey.
It's been hard.
It's solo.
Same.
And it's hard at that point when you feel like you've been done dirty so many times. It's hard to, like, all right, I'm gonna bring this barrier down, because a lot of the time for me, I'm just like, all right, let me see what you're about first. Because
You have a door. You have a door that you crack open a little bit.
It's tough. You've said it one time, like, I'll let you into the lobby, but I ain't gonna let you into the main office just yet.
No.
Yeah. Have you ever, like, I'm sure you have, but tell me about a time, like, maybe some people, church hurt is huge. Like, we've all experienced that. Tell me about a time where, like, you started putting some walls up just a little bit because you gotten hurt by somebody, or you thought you could trust them. You thought they had your back. But at the end of the day, they were black stones.
Sure.
Fugazi stones.
Yeah. Or white in the front, but black in the back.
Yeah.
So we're going to stop the podcast right here for this session. We're at the start a whole new one right now because this is going to be another 3 hours.
Hey. It's a lot. Yeah.
I went through some crazy transition even in this last 2 years.
Yeah.
I was, and I don't like to talk about this much because, you know, I want to just always walk with grace.
Yes.
Because it's easy to allow the negative situations around me to, I would say, hinder my future or stunt my growth.
Yeah.
Because it's hurt. It's been painful.
Yeah.
Right. I moved my whole family. You know, we did this whole deal where we were answering a ministry call, and you know, everything got flipped on me. The whole table got turned, and I was fired. Children's pastor was fired. Youth pastor was fired. Worship director was fired. Like, the whole squad was let go.
Everybody was gone
on the same day. It was painful. You're like, this is supposed to be church. It's supposed to be ministry. Then you see the building that you were in, worshiping the Lord in, and seeing hundreds of people come to Jesus in, it was sold. And you have no idea where the money went. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
that's tough.
A week later, like, it was difficult. Yeah. So these walls, I wanted to, like, brick by brick, speed build. You know what I'm saying? I'm never letting anybody do that to me again.
Yeah.
1 month later, I'm merging with another church. People are like, Will, how are you going to trust again? You just got done dirty by another pastor. How are you going to go and just, what are you doing? Why are you going to do this whole merge? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
So many times we want to build walls based upon our experiences, but God is saying, hey, that experience is actually building you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unplug my mic.
It's over. We're gonna end the podcast right there.
I don't need my mic anymore.
Yeah. So we wanna build. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, we want to build walls.
Hold on, let me write that down real quick.
I said something about we want to build walls based upon the circumstances of things that we've experienced.
Yeah.
But we need to allow ourselves to go through those circumstances.
Yeah.
We need to allow ourselves to experience those hurts and those pains, because in the end, we're the ones that are being built up.
Yeah.
We're being built. Like, God is doing something on the inside of our hearts that possibly couldn't have been done unless we experienced what we experienced.
Yeah, that is huge, because so many people, and I know a lot of people that would even walk away from the church because they get to this experience and they don't go through it. They stop and that's it.
No.
And then they're done. The most powerful speakers sometimes, or powerful worship leaders, will get done dirty or something happens and they get stuck.
They quit.
And that's it. They don't ever go through it.
They quit because they were wrongdoing.
Yeah.
It sucks, man.
Well, I tell people like this. If you are only committed to something,
I already know where you're going.
If you're only committed to something because of how good it's going, right? Then you're gonna fall apart when everything's going bad, right?
Yeah.
The problem that happens when everything is going bad is we begin to question God. And we say, God, where are you in the season of hardship and pain? And then when everything's going good, we're like, oh man, I got this. I'm doing well.
Yeah.
And we forget that God is in the mess and he's in the blessings. Like, he's in there with us at all times. Not saying that he's causing the messes. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he's with us.
He's with us in the valleys. Yeah.
So we say, God, where are you? And God's like, I'm right here. And then when everything's going good, we kind of forget about God and we take the credit.
Yeah.
But what I realize is that if we're only praising God when things are going good, and then we're questioning him when things are going bad, maybe we're not actually
doing it.
Serving God, we're serving our situation.
Yeah.
Because it then gets to, God, everything's going good, situations are going great, I'm good then. When situations are going bad, I don't know if I can serve you anymore.
Yeah.
Are you serving God, or are you serving the time?
Yeah, and where is your strength coming from? Because why do you get so close to God when you're in that valley? Why do you get so close to God when things aren't going great? And like you said, when it's up and everything's going good, we're fine. I don't need God as much. I don't rely on God as much as I do. But I feel like you should obviously rely on him just as much, instead of when it's just real hard.
Is your house built on sand, or is it built on concrete? Because if your house is built on sand, something is shaking, your house is destroyed. When your house is built on concrete, when things shake, it's gonna be very. The reason why right now in Puerto Rico, the reason why my grandmother, where she lives at, wasn't destroyed, was because it was on concrete. But some of the houses that were built quickly, were destroyed, because it all that matters is your foundation. If your foundation is on yourself, you're always gonna die quickly. But when your foundation is on God, bro, no matter how hard you get hit, get fired. Yeah.
I do want to ask, how did you trust so easily to do this merge, and to
because you're crazy, bro.
You're relying on God completely on this, because I don't know how well you know this pastor that you're merging with, and you just got done super dirty. How do you, I don't even know how to, I don't have words to understand how you even do that.
So here's the crazy part. I had just met this pastor during the whole Black Lives Matter things that were happening. There was a lot of injustice going on. So God had me in a season where I was actually going out when the pandemic first started. I was going out and I was actually ministering to the police officers and ministering to the protesters, bringing them water, bringing them food. And I was getting people from the church to actually reach both sides and not be on this side or that side. Right. But to actually be the hands and feet and get out there and love people.
And do it.
And it was during that season that I actually met this pastor. Crazy stuff had happened, and we just got lunch, and man, the rest is history. I didn't really know him like that. So to answer your question, that's the backstory. Yeah. I don't know how I did it either, other than just trusting God. I felt peace from the Lord. Okay, I'm lying now. Check this out. So there was this peace, and then there was this, but if you merge with somebody, that's harder than just starting your own thing, Will. Wow. Now you have to take on their baggage, their likes, their dislikes, the people in that church that might not like you because the way you come in. You're talking about a 63-year-old pastor and a 33-year-old pastor. Wow. So it's when two worlds collide, come from two different cultures, two different backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? But we serve the same God. And honestly, I think that is the part that answers it, is that I had to trust God and say, God, if this is you, you got to show me. And I felt like God was giving me all the green lights to go forward. And I was putting up walls myself because, again, the brick by brick, I wanted to build a wall to not let anybody in. And I was fearing merging. I was fearing all that. So I started to look for another building. I was making another offer. Yeah. One day I'm with my grandfather, my wife's grandfather. He's with the Lord now. But we were driving by this church, and I told him, hey, these people want to merge with me, and this is going to be the future building, yada yada. And he goes, this is it. This is it, Will. This is the Lord. And I'm like, keep driving.
He put that sucker on speed too, boy.
And I'm like, man, I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to hear that, because starting my own deal, so much easier. So much more beneficial.
The only person you got to trust is yourself.
Right. And now I have to take on. So it was really the Lord. Honestly, it was a God thing, because I had to really set myself to the side and say, God, I'm going to trust you. You have this for me. I'm going to trust you. You want me to do this? I'm going to trust you. And then I almost walked away. I still almost rebelled and put an offer on that building.
That's what I was gonna ask. I was like, did you try to get another building? You got no's or?
No, I put the offer on this building.
Yeah.
And my wife, you want to talk about your wife?
Come on.
My wife tells me, Will, like, this is the Lord. This is God.
Wow.
Like, listen,
Wild.
don't run away from a blessing. You're talking about 60 years of inheritance that I'm receiving. This man has pastored the church the last almost 29 years, almost 30 years.
Yeah.
His dad pastored it for 30 years.
Wow.
60 years of legacy that I'm
Yeah.
just being handed over to. It's totally a God thing.
Wow.
Like, they don't have to trust somebody that's not family,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the Lord.
Yo, we talked about this in the Miles episode, how you fully trusted and you said, all right, green light, let's go.
Yeah.
But some people will we talked about it, over spiritualize it so much and miss on an opportunity like that and miss God actually speaking, giving you the green light to say, I'm just going to wait on the Lord. I'm just going to, because of fear, because of trust issues, because of unknown. But you said, even with your hurt and everything there, I'm going to trust in God. I'm going to trust in him and let's run this thing. And just to see what God's doing through you guys now, because you said yes, because you answered the call, no matter even if you've been backstabbed in the past or whatever it is, you know, whatever situation other people are dealing with, because you had full trust in God instead of what your flesh was feeling.
Man. Because when your faith is in God, bro, it's that simple, man.
It is.
It's just that. You think, like, mine obviously wasn't as big as yours, but I had another podcast before this. And when it went south, when me and him started to talk, I had my doubts. Not on him, probably maybe in him. I don't know. I was just afraid that what happened if I do something again. And you said wife. My wife said he was the one from the beginning. I said, all right. And that's why now almost a year
In the podcast?
43 episodes, and
43 episodes
we've
deep.
been going in, and
Yeah.
it's like, man, like, even in the midst of a weird season that you're in, God still, like, will speak to you. And sometimes I feel like God speaks to you even more.
Sure.
Because sometimes we're more vulnerable to hear the voice of God in the midst of this chaos, in the midst of this. Like, for me, I feel like I've listened to God a lot more in the midst of weird seasons than when my season ain't as bad. Still hear him, still listen to him, but it's like, it's just different, you know. It's crazy.
Yeah. God's plan is insane. You kind of hit with some of your answers. You hit on a lot of the rest of the questions I had. And like that, you answered it perfectly. This next part I had is, why does it always feel like, or we feel like our plan is easier to go our way versus going God's way?
God's way, yeah.
Like you said, I had to, on the negative side of the thing, not negative, but like they had 60 years of roots already.
Right.
That you had to walk into, which
that tree ain't getting destroyed anytime.
some people are like, that's way harder. Just like you said, I'm gonna do my own thing, and that's way easier. I lay the foundation. I'm the, I choose what the roots are or whatever it is. Why is it that, I don't know if this is always the case, but does it sometimes seem like God's plan always seems like a little bit of the harder route than actually choose what we want to do?
Right.
Because God builds us for the long run, not for temporary.
You're one-liners, bro.
Because if he would have did it on his own will, and maybe I'm wrong, but sometimes when we do it on our own strength, things go south quickly.
Yeah.
But when God does it, it's like God said, you're running a marathon here, sir.
Yeah.
Like, I'm taking you on a trip. I'm not taking you around the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
So I was gonna say, like,
Go ahead.
how small minded we are as humans.
That's so
Right.
true. Yeah.
Our thought process and what we believe is good is literally just it's just this view from afar off. It's blurred. God's view is like ultra.
Can't even imagine.
Close in, all around. He could see like
360.
every detail of the circumstance, every detail of the situation.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking with my blurred view, this has to be better. And God's up there with his view like, this is way better.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking this could be, this possible.
8K? Nah.
And God's like,
Yeah.
no, this is so much better.
Yeah.
we didn't go back to the whole Peter deal.
Yeah.
We kind of skipped over some things. I want to go back to him just real quick.
Please.
I don't know how much time we have, but he made a commitment that he wasn't going to deny.
Mm-hmm.
We know that he didn't keep that commitment.
Right.
Yeah.
So 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, he denies Jesus. The Bible quotes it only in one portion of the Gospels.
Yeah.
And I believe it's in Mark,
Mm.
that it says that Jesus, on the 3rd time that Peter had denied him, that Jesus turned and looked at Peter. So he was in a close enough distance to where Jesus was able to actually hear Peter's denial.
Yeah.
He turns and looks at Peter.
Yeah.
And the Bible says that Peter began to weep bitterly because he realized Jesus heard me. Jesus was right.
Yeah.
I denied. The cool thing about that is that Jesus sees our denial.
Yeah, he does.
He sees our issues. He sees our problems.
Yeah.
And I believe that Jesus said in that moment, I'm still going to die for you. I'm still going to go to the cross.
Mm-hmm.
I still got you. Like, I got you covered.
No matter what.
Jesus had every opportunity in that moment to say, wow, even my own disciple who's been following me for 3 years is denying me. I'm not going to go through with this after all. You know what? You guys are right. I'm not the King of Kings. I'm not the Messiah. Just let me go now. He just had to admit that. That's all they wanted him to admit.
Mm-hmm.
That he wasn't the Messiah, that he wasn't the King, that he wasn't the Savior of the world, that he wasn't the Son of God. That's why they were mad at him. That's why they wanted to kill him, because he was making these claims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could have said right then and there, dude,
Nah.
if Peter don't care about me, no one is. This dude was my closest friend.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't go forward with this. He was on a mission, man.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what his purpose was. He knew, like, God knows. He has the overall view that's ultra clear.
Yeah.
He sees every aspect of it, and he's like, you're jacked up. You
Yeah.
need help.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that's going to restore you.
I got you. No matter
Yeah.
what.
Like,
I think the thought process is so big, because I got taught this illustration of, we can look at this bottle, right? You're looking at your situation. Nemo can see that side. I can't see.
right.
I can see this side. See this little label that he can't see.
Yeah. I know.
You see that side.
Right.
Thing with God's,
They see that side.
yeah, they see that side. God's perspective is, I can see the whole thing
Sure.
when you can only see one.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's wild when we get so, and I'm the same way. I'll do this sometimes too. Where like, I only see the 10% coconut water. I can only see this side of things.
But I see the calories, the nutrients.
And then God's like, bro, you don't even know.
Sure.
You don't even know what I got for you. You messed up by this part. That's why you're stopping now.
He said, once you go around that, you'll see.
So, yeah, crazy. You got anything else?
About to throw this mic, so I'm about to do.
Will speaks.
He's speaking.
Will talks real talk.
Yeah. Coming soon. Yeah.
Plug.
I just want to say,
Please.
whoever's listening, stay faithful in your lane and what God has called you to do. Know that you're anointed. Know that you're called for it. Know that you're purposed, that God's goodness and grace, his hand is over you. And in the moments where you feel inadequate and like you don't want to continue going forward, you don't want to keep pushing because, man, this is getting difficult. This is getting hard. Just know that God is with you, that he's for you, that he's on your side, that he got your back, that he's going to support you, and that he's going to get you through to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing we can do to ourselves is allow ourselves to think that we can't make it and throw in the towel. And on the other side of that, like towel throw, I believe is like that line that if you would have just crossed right there, it was breakthrough is right there.
Yeah.
Breakthrough is ahead. The question is, are you willing to go forward? Are you willing to take that extra step? Are you willing to read that extra verse, pray that extra prayer, love that extra person, go beyond, above and beyond in that level of grace and understanding and saying, you know what, I'm sorry, or I thought wrong of you, or hey, you know what, I allowed myself to think this way or fall in this area. Start to see yourself the way that God's called you and what he's ordained you to be, and just live a life of freedom. It's going to get hard. It's going to get difficult. But instead of building these walls up and trying to run away, let God build you up. Let God strengthen you. Let God encourage you. And some of these situations that you're going to encounter and face in life are really going to promote you to that next level.
They're going to make you stronger. You just got to trust and keep going, whether it's good times or bad times.
Yep.
Big facts.
That's all we can do.
Yes, sir.
Why try it on ourselves? Why try to do it ourselves?
Don't grow weary while doing good. Don't quit. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Yep.
Sirens. Gee, sirens.
The Lord's coming.
They coming to put the fire out that this guy just laid on these mics, man.
I know, bro. Dang, where's the fire extinguisher at?
Jeez.
This guy. No, we appreciate you, Pastor, and just
It's only part one.
Absolutely.
Because we're gonna talk about way more stuff next time.
Oh, for sure, for sure. No,
you guys don't even know me.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't have to.
That's what I'm saying. This is just a new. I'm grateful for this new friendship, this opportunity to be able to just chat it up with you. And like Nemo said, we're gonna have many more times. So I'm excited.
We'll have one where you actually really, but I believe that you needed to speak into the season that I believe a lot of people are actually in right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Something stirring. Like you said, why leave California when God's stirring something up?
Something about to go off.
What did Miles Minnick say? What was the revival in the 1900s?
Azusa.
Oh, yeah.
He says there's about to be another one that's about to happen. And something stirring.
I'm telling you, man, Central Cali, the epicenter of something great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm calling it. I'm claiming it.
We're no longer the bowl of California.
I like Central Cali. That sounds better.
We about to be the flame starters of California.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's there's something special in saying yes to Jesus and putting ourselves to the side.
Yeah.
But it's not easy. It's not easy to just say yes to Jesus because sometimes saying yes to Jesus means saying no to something else.
Yep.
I'd rather say no to the other stuff than no to Jesus.
It's easier said than done, though.
Oh, I know.
I was just going to say
some
of the things that we say no to had the greatest values in our lives.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like to say no to this, man, is difficult. I don't know if I could say no to that or to that person, to that situation, because I felt like this was from God, and God's like, yeah, it was from me for a season.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Or sometimes it'll be thrown at you just to see what you're going to do. Be faithful to him or faithful to this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like that story I told about David. He inquires of the Lord. The Lord's like, hey, go straight forward and attack them. Then the next day, he inquires of the Lord, Lord, what should I do? And God says, go around this time. It's like, wait a second.
You just told me.
Why can't I just go straight ahead this time? Because yesterday you told me to do that. God gives you new strategy, new direction for a new day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So good. I love it. You got anything else?
You better ask
just
it now.
Mind blown.
You better ask it now,
He
bro.
said you only get one episode,
bro.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like God, I don't know. He's crazy.
God is crazy.
He is.
He is. Honestly, he's crazy.
Like what he does is just it's throughout the Bible, just everything, even in life, and he just continually blows my mind.
Especially hindsight,
man.
To look back over things.
When you pass through that time and then you look back and you say, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Like, how could God have used this situation to press me into this other season or to press me into this other lane that I was supposed to go in? And then you look back and like, yeah, that was completely God.
Yeah. What wilderness are you looking at?
Yeah.
Right. There's two different wildernesses. There's a wilderness where they were trapped for 40 years, going in circles and circles and circles. And then there was the wilderness where Jesus actually went on purpose to seek God.
Yep.
It's like same place, two different scenarios. Same place, two different mindsets. is your wilderness going to be complaining, or is your wilderness going to be praising? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're just getting wrecked over there.
No, it's just crazy. He's just saying
Oh my
stuff
God,
that
those-
we've talked about.
yeah. Like, so yeah, I was gonna say this also. You know, yeah. I don't know. I'll keep going, man. I'll keep going. Never mind.
We're gonna have to do another episode at some point, but no, I want to cut it there. There's just so many different ways you can go with this, but no, show Pastor Will some love. WillSpeaks some love. Go follow him on Instagram. He's got a new podcast coming shortly, soon. Dates to come. Go follow him on Instagram. But we just appreciate you for giving us the time for our content. And
yes, it was amazing, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was no coincidence that you came down to Fresno for a reason.
nah, for real, that's crazy. I'm sure we'll look at that in hindsight at some point in our lives too,
We're
and be
just
like,
gonna giggle at
"Dang."
everything. No, man.
You want to sign us out?
Sure. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what you think about this conversation. And if you have any questions or anything, go ahead and send us a DM on Instagram. Follow us all over the place. And we'll see you guys later.
Peace.
Let's go.